Greetings, everyone. My name is Ismael Perez, and today I'm actually going to be conducting the interview. It's the other way around. I have an interesting character in front of me today, a person who has had a lot of experience in life and has gone through so much to the point where he even experienced an abduction by aliens. So we're going to get through all of that, but first we want to get to know him on a personal level. David, welcome to my podcast. How you doing?
Thank you. Very well.
Awesome. So David, what were some of the influences on you growing up as a kid?
Well, I was raised in Iowa and Wisconsin on the Mississippi River there, and very peculiar place. The Mississippi Indians, right above our house, had all their, their mound building stuff up there. I didn't know that till I was an adult. I played in those fields. I didn't even see that. But somebody went on there and cleared land up there was something there, So I think some of the strangeness in that little area there, the wildlife was out of your mind. I mean, if you saw a bird, it was a swarm of birds. It was like weird. Well, I was the goldfinch capital of the world, whatever it is, and we had the goldfinches from hell. I mean, you could not walk out in the daytime and not hear just a cacophony of noise everywhere. Then my dad got his teaching degree, moved across the river into Wisconsin. My first experience that I ever had with any type of abnormal things happening in my life, I had recurring mumps as a child, and they took up my parotid glands, and subsequently, I had so many infections that the ears in my middle ear corroded. They had to do operations on my ears. So when I got out of the surgery from that time, I was in 4th grade. I had gone completely deaf, but I had a teacher that helped me get through that. Anyway.
Okay.
I had just gotten out of the hospital, and my mother said, "David, I want you playing on the basketball court. It's not a good time to do that." I didn't listen to her. I just played and played. My brain came over. We played basketball. So I went inside, took a nap, and as I was sleeping, and I woke up, kind of a half slumberous state. There was a creature sitting on my chest right here. This creature sitting right here looking at me.
Right.
And it scared me to death, Started to fight, trying to fight it off. And I ran out of the room screaming, Everybody get out of the house, get out of the house. There's something in the house. There's a horrible monster in the house. Right. It wasn't very big, but it was a monster, And my dad finally calmed me down, took me back inside the house. There's nothing there, of course, But I knew I knew there was something there because this was the creature, and then there was a shadow that was there from the light coming in through the window.
Right. So it was an insectoid or a bug-looking?
It was an insectoid-looking thing.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, those do exist.
Weird.
Yeah, very intelligent species, by the way.
I think he was trying to help me out.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, so you think it was benevolent then?
Benevolent, yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't know what it was. It's just so horrific, That was my first time I ever had something weird happen to me,
Very interesting, very interesting. So, what are your belief system? At least, what is it that your parents believed in? Where were you raised in?
I was raised born-again Christian family.
Christian family, okay.
And my dad was a religious zealot. He would do the craziest things. Every time we went anywhere, he would be preaching the gospel to them, handing out gospel tracts, trying to bring you to Jesus, And a couple times he went to this motorcycle bar is in Durango, Iowa, and there's about 50 motorcycles there all the time, partying away, He set up his little podium on top of a picnic table and started preaching to all the bikers. And that's people are in the car, my mom and all the kids are just freaking out. "What, you're crazy, man?" And he told the church elders about that. They were like, "Are you insane?" Yeah.
Right.
He was bold. He was brave. He did what he thought he needed to do. So.
Wow.
That's good attachment.
Yeah. My mom was just always mom until my dad died, and then she went and got her college degree also.
So you were raised Christian for the most part?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I could probably recite almost every Bible verse in the Bible.
So your parents didn't take it very well when you told them the story about that little being that was...
No, he didn't. No, he tried to help me through it,
Yeah.
My dad did.
Oh, I see.
And thankfully, he did help me through it.
Did he think it was a demon or something?
I think they just thought it was because of something that was in my head because
Oh,
of,
I see. Okay.
you know, my mother had told me not to go out there, and I did that, and maybe that was a result of that. I don't know.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
Are you an only child or siblings?
I have 2 other brothers and 2 other sisters.
Oh, I see. I see. And they're all in the same belief system that your parents are in?
No.
As Christians? No?
No.
Okay.
My older sister Becky, she lives in Riverside, and she's all into the Dungeons and Demons things, you know, the
Interesting.
role-playing games, and she was the queen of our medieval group that we belonged to, the Adrian Empire.
Right.
So
Okay.
I was one of the knights of the empire. Hack your heads off with the sword, I say.
So, name any influential people that you felt that inspired you in your life.
Mrs. Kopp.
Who?
Mrs. Kopp,
Who's that?
my 4th grade teacher.
Oh, okay. Tell us about your 4th grade teacher.
When I went deaf, my parents wanted to stick me into retards, you know, special education classes, whatever. And my mother said, "No, you keep me in the right there. Where's that?" So she did little things, especially just for me, so I could. One of those was she brought all the literature, all the mythology of the Greeks and Romans. I got to read all those stories, and I learned a lot from that. And so when I came back to school, she was like, and I was like, oh, you know, buddy, yeah.
I see. So, do you have any spiritual beliefs of any kind?
I'm
do
a
you
born
believe in
again.
God?
I'm a born again Christian.
You're a
myself.
born again Christian. Oh,
I had an experience where I was living in Rusty Canyon, horse property up there, and I knew there was a lot of witchcraft. Everybody that I had been in contact with it then never had warned me about going up on the hill up there, you know. So I lived right on the edge of the Rusty Canyon was there, and then nothing, you know, just all empty land and stuff, scrub brush, and so I'd take care of her horses while she was working Con Ed. She was a lineman for the county, and one day, I had come home. I worked as a respiratory therapist for 30 years, so I was doing my respiratory therapy, and my buddy Jim wanted to go to the bar across the street from the hospital. We went and had a couple of drinks and did some dances and stuff, and I went home. I was tired, and I took a little nap, and in the middle of my nap, I suddenly got a surprise. I hadn't gone to sleep yet, and I could hear something inside. And he's like, "You know I'm here, right?" Like, "What? You're here?" Yeah. I said, "Oh my God, there's something else in my head." I got up and I had a drink of water, you know, trying to figure out what's going on. And it was something in my head, and it was not a good thing. It was a horrible, horrible demon that took over my body.
Took over your body.
Took over my body. I had a waterbed at the time.
So would you say it's like it was some sort of a possession?
It was definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely was. And the point where whatever was inside of me, whatever entity that was able to stop my heart, stop my muscles from moving.
What? So you were paralyzed?
I wasn't paralyzed.
No, you weren't paralyzed.
I was totally aware of what was going on.
Okay.
But it wasn't me that was controlling my body. The devil just told me,
Right,
you know,
right.
I want you to give your soul to me for just a moment. I'll just borrow it. Just take that little piece of you, and I give it right back to you. You know, all kinds of promises, you know. And all I could think of was all my upbringing, all the religious stuff, everything I learned in Bible school. I was repeating. You know, I can't help myself. I just prayed to Jesus and I prayed to the saints and tried to make them keep your promise to me, you know. And finally, the Lord stepped in and intervened and told me, you know, it was gone. It was like a pillar of fire in my body. I can't even describe it as horrific.
Oh, how long did that last?
About an hour, I guess. About
an hour, huh?
And my buddy came home from work or his job, and I started talking about what had happened to me, that I got saved. But I hadn't gotten saved. Actually, after I got up, left my body and puked in the toilet, my head in the toilet, and I realized, you know, I got saved from that, but I really haven't accepted Jesus as my Savior, you know. That's when I got saved. Oh, you know, boom. I didn't mean to get saved. I'm not, you know, not a real religious person anyway, that way. And since then, I've been much more aware of my surroundings and much more aware of who I talk to, because they could be the eminent person that you got that possessed you. It could be a speaker for them, you know. And I had experience like that where in the hospital I'm taking a cigarette break. I worked night shift, and taking a cigarette break outside the hospital, outside the ICU there, and a girl came up from the operating room. She had all operating gear on. I'm thinking that's kind of odd because there's no operations going on. I know there should be nobody back in that OR, you know. But that's okay. She hung out with me for a while and she started talking, and all of a sudden she's telling me, you know, about God. I don't fear God. I said, I don't fear God either. You know, I came from a totally different direction than she was. She didn't, you know. I don't fear God because I know God. I didn't say that, but you know, I should have said that. But anyway, I should have said that.
Describe God. How would you describe God?
Someone who, when you call their name, will hear you.
Oh, right here.
Now, if you want them to answer you, you have to be on your knees, you know, repentant and willing to hear whatever is going to come into your body from that moment on. It's going to come from God. And there are times when I've had to resort to that, you know.
Yeah.
I know the person I'm talking to is very deceitful and, you know, full of bullshit and lies and everything else. So I'll just take that and I'll listen to it, but I know better, you know, as an adult.
I see. So tell us about I heard you've been abducted by aliens. When did this happen?
I wasn't abducted by aliens.
Oh, not abducted. You had experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
My first UFO experience, I was 17 years old, and my buddy and I, Bruce, he had gone to the movie theater in the town next door, about 50 miles from where we lived. And as we came back from the movie, it just so happened that movie was UFOs past and present. I didn't like the movie. I thought it was really a dud kind of documentary thing. I didn't understand it at all. And as we're coming back over from the movie, come over this hill, there's a farmhouse on this left side. There's a deep draw down on this other side of the road. And there's electrical lines going from the house down to the shed here, electrical shed. And as we get up to that rise, right through that intersection there, I see these lights. It was a light that was going like this on the ground, you know, way out there, like 2-3 miles away from us. I said, Bruce, do you see that light? That's weird. It's a weird light. He's yapping at me. I said, look at the light. So he looked over, oh, that is weird. And just as I got something out of my mouth, and I didn't get the sentence, this thing went, and its lights went from there to there, and it turned blue, like a real crackly blue, and went right over our heads. Between the high power line that was here and my car, it was that close. It didn't like that.
Almost hit your car then.
Almost hit our car.
Oh, how?
It was a threatening behavior. I was scared by that, you know.
Did you know it was aliens at that point, or?
Oh, I certainly, I knew it. Yeah, it's not anything like that coming out of the sky at me. Yeah.
Any other experiences?
I won't say any aliens, but I'll say there was definitely something. Didn't want me to see them, and was pissed off that I saw them, and threatened me.
And then they threaten you.
Oh, I mean,
how did they do that?
Car, I'm trying to scare
I see. By trying to scare you. Okay.
It was 5 feet over our head. It went 5 feet over our head, filled the whole screen of my car. You know.
Did you ever have any more experiences after that day?
Yeah, not with UFOs.
Not with UFOs. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. Yeah.
Very interesting. So, growing up as a Christian and being born again, how does that tie in with your UFO encounter?
I'm not sure I know yet.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the best question to ask you is,
is there more than one God? Maybe so.
More than one God?
You know, I mean, you know.
So are you saying in terms of like each alien has its own God, or could it be that we're all
different
children
powers,
of God? Yeah.
They're, you know, above and below.
Yeah.
That, you know, most of us don't have any inkling of what's going on. I think in the olden times, where all these holy sites are all over the world, there was something there that brought them there. They had shaman that understood electromagnetic properties of the world and where the power was being generated from, how they could use that power for themselves. So, so a lot of the old ruins, I think, are just left over from that.
From aliens?
From aliens, possibly.
Oh, interesting.
I've been to Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan.
Yeah,
Yeah, sacred site.
I'm
Vortex.
astonished and amazed
Yeah.
that we had pyramids that were almost the size of the ones in Giza.
Mhm.
I had never heard of them before until I was in Mexico. You know,
And who do you think built those?
somebody before us.
Somebody before us.
Yes.
So how does
With a
that
great
tie
knowledge
in?
of the power bases that
Yeah.
we're sitting on, what they, you know. And I think a lot of those places were just rulers who had to keep their people busy, because if they didn't, they were going to revolt, because mankind is basically a clan. You know, clansmen here, there, or, you know, groups of people that, you know. And I think if they wouldn't have put those people to work on projects like that, they wouldn't have ever let those, you know, so whoever was controlling the lead guy was pretty smart, you know.
Right.
Pretty smart. Keep your people busy.
Very
Idle
fascinating.
hands is the work of the devil.
So you know how the Bible says we've only been here for 6,000 years?
Yeah, my dad doesn't believe that.
Your dad doesn't believe that?
We all knew it. We all of us kids, we knew that was all bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think it's more of a metaphor, right? It's more of a...
I don't think anybody in the Bible saw anything that we wouldn't normally have seen ourselves. You know, they weren't necessarily any more holy than we are. Maybe more observant than we are, and they tried to portray what they saw in a physical form as best they could. I think if our world is what we say it is, what we think it is, you know, we're not the sole survivors of anything. You know. We're the ones who we built it all up. Everything else we came from the stars, and we just took those elements and eventually, over time, figured it all out.
It's interesting that you say that all of this stuff came from the stars. All of the stuff in ancient times came from the people from the stars.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of evidence, and that's why I wrote my book, Our Cosmic Origin, to let everyone know that, you know, we've never been alone in the universe, and that the entire cosmos is teaming up with life. You know, that there are trillions of galaxies just in the known universe, and then that there are other universes.
Oh, millions and zillions of them. Yeah. I mean, so many worlds you can't even believe there's so many worlds.
Exactly.
It's astonishing. You know?
So I guess my question is, I'm proposing the idea that every species out there, doesn't matter what they look like, human, non-human, that we're all children of a one creator. Perhaps there is a one creator for all the species out there.
Right.
Aliens, humans, non-humans, advanced civilizations, intermediate, primitive, all of the above, under the one creator. What do you think about that?
One person has all the buttons to push. I mean, that's kind of mean, you know, because if someone was pushing all the buttons, they have power to create and destroy as well.
Yeah, but what if this one infinite creator that many call God, right, which was later condensed into, you know, religious organizations as Yahweh, or Jesus is Father, right, where we all come from, he created everything. But what if this infinite creator is all benevolent, that he or she or it, let's just say it has no gender, right? Whatever this thing is, has so much unconditional love for all of creation that it would design things in a way where it would keep it preserved, keep things, in peace. Protection would be involved.
Build walls that would last forever. I mean, stonework that would last forever.
So there has to be some sort of a cosmic order. There has,
or a cosmic order that we are going back to.
Back to. I like the way you said that.
Yeah.
Going back to. Because I agree with that. I believe that we came from something that was not this, that was much better than this.
Oh yeah.
And this is temporary. This is temporary. Whether you're religious, spiritual or not, everybody that studies these ancient texts know that this reality comes to an end at a specific time.
Yeah.
And then we return back to the original reality that was actually a divine creation.
Right.
Or a divine
We're heading
blueprint.
back there.
Exactly. We're heading back there. Yeah, I like that.
I know myself. I have to believe in God, I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't believe that.
Let me ask you this. Considering that some of these born-again Christians, or these people that are conserved or extreme religious.
Yeah, zealots like my dad, yeah.
Exactly. How would they take the idea of other worlds or other species that are non-human or that are from another, solar system?
My dad was a scientist. He was a high school teacher. He taught, geometry, trigonometry, physics. It was what he taught in school. You can't study not study physics and not know that there's much, much more that we don't understand.
Yeah.
And that there may be people, us people on Earth that live for millions and millions of years. We live in a pure environment given to us by whoever, and we've been slowly eroding that away to something else that was less meaningful than what it was.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But for people that are not scientists like your dad, for people that are like zealots, religious, it's either their way or the highway, or
I'd never be. I don't ever. I
how
never
do you
wanna be
think?
like- I don't want to be like that.
Yeah. How do you think they're going to take the concept of extraterrestrial life forms and other worlds? Do you think it's going to be hard for them to digest?
If religion feels it's a threat to them, they'll go to hide that any way they can, suppress what they've got, the power base that they have. Everybody tries to protect that power base. It's instinct. It's even within us,
Yeah.
protect what we have. So I don't think that they're very loose with their mind, free with their minds enough to think that there's something else going on.
Mm-hmm.
There is something else going on.
Yeah, there is. There is. But for some, it's hard for them to digest. For some, it's hard for them to accept. So from what I've studied and from what I've gathered through my many years of research, is that there are certain people that are religious that actually think that anything that comes from other dimensions or from the sky
It's from the devil or something.
is from the devil. Yeah, they call them demonics,
No.
But you don't agree with that.
No,
you
not
think
at all.
that
it's a phenomenon.
it's a phenomenon. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a phenomenon. It's
Just like
been there
you're-
for a lot of years.
exactly. Just like how you had an experience with a benevolent insectoid
Right.
that was in front of you, Yeah.
So, I don't think they're evil at all. I think they just think like we do.
Exactly.
That UFO saw me, didn't like what he saw, and was going to threaten us that way to scare the shit out of us.
Exactly.
Scared the shit out of us. We called the county cops,
Yeah.
and reported a UFO. They just laughed. Oh, kid on the boy says UFO. So I took
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure cops get a lot of those calls nowadays.
I had to tell somebody. Just leave that lie there.
Okay. So what are your hobbies? Like, what do you do on your time off?
And I was a respiratory therapist for a lot of years. Did a lot of overtime at the hospital.
Oh, you work at a hospital.
I worked at Kaiser Hospital.
Oh, okay.
In
Nice.
Riverside and in Fontana.
Okay.
And my specialty was the preemie babies, which I loved. That's great. Great job. Anyway,
Nice.
But since then, I'm polite to save the world. Okay?
What do you have there?
I had some of my artistic stuff I've done. I recycle plastic bottles.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good for the environment. You
Yes.
love planet Earth. That's good.
I do.
I think a lot of people should.
So I try to recycle like this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, where's the other one? Like this. I make flowers. Make flowers at the top, so then I make the,
So you make this stuff, huh?
yeah.
Wow. You're very artistic and creative.
Yeah, always been that way. Always much into nature. Did a lot of hunting, fishing, that stuff when I was a kid, walking in the woods. Not afraid to be by myself in dark places.
Have you ever seen a Sasquatch, and do you believe that they're real? Bigfoot.
I think that other people think they're real. They
Yeah.
must be real then.
Yeah.
And it's real to people that are seeing them. And I think there is something out there.
What do you think a Sasquatch or the Bigfoot is? Do you think he's an
A forgotten
extraterrestrial?
species. Yeah, I do. A forgotten species. It's
Forgotten
not here,
species,
but-
huh?
Yeah.
They were probably here millions of years ago.
Yeah. And they don't want us to see them.
No, they don't.
No, obviously. So let's just leave them alone.
Yeah. And they don't bother us unless we bother them.
That's
huh?
exactly.
Yeah. If you're out there in the woods and you're minding your own
Yeah,
business.
They're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Exploring, having fun, eating stuff.
Eating other animals, right?
But I tell you what, one story I had to have is in Palm Springs. I lived there for 5 years and always had dogs wherever I went. And I got off. I was working PM shift at that time, so I got off work. I wouldn't be back to Palm Springs until midnight. So I'd have a little snack and I'd go walk the dogs late at night. And I walked down this one street I lived on, Cerrito Street, and I thought, I'll just take one little block detour over on this other street over here and walk back towards home that way. Well, I had been out for quite a while. I had to take a whiz. So my dogs are out here in the bushes. There are bushes on the other side, high bushes. Nobody can see me. But it is dark over here by these trees. I'm gonna go over the tree to take a whiz. Still got my dogs on a leash trying to hold, do my business. And what I thought was a pit by this tree where they would water from. I don't know, go to where water and where the pit is, you know. And come to find out, it was not a depression in the ground. It was a mound. It was a creature. When I started to pee, this thing got up off the ground.
Whoa.
And stood, you know, a foot taller than I was, you know. Very skinny, hairy, all over. This
wow.
little bitty nose and big yellow eyes.
So it was a Bigfoot.
It wasn't a Bigfoot. It was a monkey-looking creature.
Monkey-looking creature that was taller than you.
Taller than me.
Because you're about 6'3", right?
I'm 6'2".
6'2", okay.
And it was taller than me, and when it stood up, he had been sleeping there underneath the tree, and I wasn't afraid. I just, whoa, what the fuck are you?
It's okay, we'll edit it.
The hell is that, you know?
Yeah.
And I could see the creature looked up, looked down at me, and big eyes, and, you know, went, what are you, you know?
Wow.
It's like, okay, which one was going to run first here? You know, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid of me. I was just, you know, here. I wanted to reach out.
Did you really try shaking his hand?
I thought about that. I was really,
Yeah.
and it was a beautiful creature. It was a female, beautiful, svelte.
And she was
smooth,
hairy, huh?
furry, very
Furry.
short furry though, short furry. And so it decided to run first. We went across the yard, up onto the 6-foot fence on 2 legs. Ran across the yard on 2 legs. Jumped onto the fence, turned around and looked at me. And when it turned around, I saw his tail. It had a tail.
What?
Big, long, monkey-looking tail. You know?
Monkey-looking tail. Oh, that's very interesting.
And
I've never
jumped
heard
down in the neighbor's yard,
of monkeys that
gone.
are over 7 feet.
And my heart was going, wow, did I see that? Unbelievable.
It could have been a female Sasquatch that is much shorter. Because the males are anywhere from 8 to 10 feet, right?
This is more monkey-looking.
Monkey-looking, you say?
Monkey-looking. When I saw one of the strange evidence or whatever they had on TV there, a very similar creature I saw was in India. Was jumped over, the guy was riding his bicycle down this little path between the alleyway there, and some creature jumped from the alleyway onto the path and right in front of his bicycle. And got it all on camera, you know. And that was the creature I saw. Only the creature I saw was darker fur and big yellow eyes. Big yellow eyes. Where has that been living? My God. I think there's other, and then I heard the story about the hellhounds in Palm Springs, and I know there's some connection right there in that area there that things are coming through our space, you know.
Perhaps there's like a vortex, a
doorway.
doorway.
Being that was somewhere else and just pushed the wrong button and got lost, you know.
And got lost in our realm.
Yeah.
So you do believe in other realms?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's something I discovered a long time ago.
You know. They had to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Got to be.
Makes a lot of sense.
I just want to know where we came from.
Well, if you read my book, we all come from God. We all come from a reality that has never had a beginning or end. I call it in my book the eternal realms.
Right.
So we are children of the divine, eternal beings of light.
Right.
And we will return to that.
I believe. Yeah, that's it.
So with all your experiences and all your encounters with these paranormal creatures, any final thoughts or that you want to leave our audience with regarding anything that you might want to share?
I think we need to explore a lot more, and have somebody that's not even scientists, but even shamans or somebody who has much more awareness of the spiritual realm that's happening around us that we don't see, to investigate it further. You know, the telepathy thing and seeing objects from the distance. You know, that I know that's true. I've been given warning in my mind about a horrible accident was going to happen. I saw it in my head before it happened. And at one time in my life, I was able to change my fate. And that was, you know, I take that to be somebody talking to me, you know. Maybe it's the clues I was getting around me that was putting the stuff in my head. But my friends and I told these guys last night, we were deer hunting, and down by the Wisconsin River there, they had planted all these trees during World War II to do all the attack maneuvers and stuff on it. And so we were driving this row of trees, and the row of trees kind of widened into a little wider road. Then that road turned into a 4-lane highway, like practically, you know. And I said, oh, there's something horrible going to happen to us. And I started freaking out. Stop the car! There's something horrible going to happen to us. You know, I'm trying to explain that to somebody when you're in LSD. It's like, you know. So my friend, he's driving my car, and I'm sitting right behind him in the back seat. I said, "Motherfucker!" And he started speeding up. Ha ha! You know. Mm-hmm. I said, "Stop the car! Stop the car!" And in my head, I saw my car, going over a cliff into the Wisconsin River, from hundreds of feet up in the air. And finally, I had to grab him by the neck, drag him out. And he wasn't going to stop the car even then. But when he turned around and hit me, he saw out of the corner of his eye what I saw in my head before.
Which is a cliff.
A cliff.
Oh gosh.
Stopped on the brakes, and the only thing that saved our lives was a little tiny sapling that grew up in the road and hooked up on the back bumper of the car, saved us. So I think there's something out there that's telling you that danger area. We have guardians over us.
That's true. We do.
And when we don't have guardianship of ourselves, something else is able to provide that. Well, we need a little extra something.
Absolutely. Yep. When it's not our time, they'll let us know.
No. Yeah.
Well, that was a very fascinating story. Thank you for sharing it with us, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure. All right, so I just interviewed David Weirdman, right? Wildman, sorry. David. I just interviewed David Wildman. What a very interesting person who's been through so much. Had a lot of paranormal experiences throughout his life. And above all, he believes in a higher power. He believes in God. He's a born-again Christian. And most importantly, guys, he believes that we are going to be returning back to that divine original heaven, paradise, whatever you want to call it. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for being here. It's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and show us your art really quick so people can see what you do on your downtime.
Oh, my
So
art.
Dave's hobbies, when he's not working as a in the hospital, he works at
Respiratory therapist, yeah.
as a respiratory therapist. He's building these things at home. He's building these things at home
To save the world.
to save the world.
So I have about maybe 1,000 of these I made already.
You made 1,000 of those?
Yeah.
Nice. Do you sell them or you just
I haven't
keep
sold
them?
them yet. My dream when I was growing up was just, you know, I did respiratory for so long. And when I said, well, I'm going to retire, I'm going to get a little, you know, place down by the beach and sell my wares from Venice Beach or somewhere, you know, down there. And that was my dream. I've changed that since I had cancer. So I think I'm better off just staying where I'm at and just selling from here somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe go to Palm Springs. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. This is a wrap. I'm going to try to spend more time with real people who had real experiences that they may share with us here on my channel. I hope you guys have a beautiful day.